Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press. It's December 22nd, here, Friday, in Foley Square, Inner City Press, on the case. And our theme is going to be Christmas. It's beginning to feel a little bit like Christmas. There's no snow, but it's cold. So we're going to begin with a heartwarming tale. In the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York Magistrates Court, that's a mouthful, a man named Louis Paulino. He'd been detained for 2 weeks in the MDC. It's for a drug dealing case in Upper Manhattan. And lo and behold, he's been released. And his signers don't have to sign until January 2nd. It's not a gun case. It's not a violence case. And he's out for Christmas. Meanwhile, here's a case on the cusp. There's a defendant that we've covered before. His name is Derek Parsons. He was sentenced to 2 years for having a gun, but there's more to the story. He got a gun, he says, and I choose to believe. When he got out of jail, his mother was under threat because his brother had been a cooperator for the prosecutors right here. But he wasn't really provided any protection or relocation. He got a gun, he was caught, sentenced to 2 years. Now he's written in asking for release before his release date, which would be February 2025. That's pending. Christmas is in the air. Of course, there's Epstein. Let's talk Epstein. There's going to be some unsealing. When it'll be, nobody can quite be sure. It was ordered in the case of Maxwell, of Giuffre versus Maxwell. Now, since last we raised this issue, Doe 107. Now, in the docket it's called John Doe, but the letter says Jane Doe. I believe it's a woman, and she said does not want the name released because she lives in a conservative country, to which some said this applies to the United States. I think she's out of the country in any event. So given a month, does it apply to everyone? We're going to have our eye on the docket. Inner City Press does not stop. Yesterday we covered, this is a little lighter, the follow-up on a case that we covered earlier this year of Adidas versus Thom Browne. It was a rare underdog story. Not that Thom Browne, with an H, is an underdog, but Adidas is definitely not an underdog. And Adidas sued Thom Browne's 4 stripes, saying that it interfered with their 3-stripe intellectual property. Well, Thom Browne won. Problem. Adidas has learned through UK litigation that Thom Browne had an email in which possibly Thom Browne himself was involved, but in any event, in which they admitted that the stripes could be confusing. So there might be a new trial. We covered it. You can find that on Inner City Press. That's how we roll. And here's a real Christmas story. For weeks, probably, we've been saying how we're trying to appeal. We had filed a notice of appeal, the sealing of Sebastian Greenwood of OneCoin sentencing letters, deadlines approaching. Well, we've gotten the brief is due. It's in. We're in. The case is live, and the brief is due March 18th, 2024. So it's going to be a big one. Court transparency in 2024, peace and goodwill. Oh, at the UN, they're failing on Gaza, but there's more than enough time to talk about that.